Oh. Narayana. Hari Om and good morning from Pittsburgh. There are three types of people who are sleeping. One type of person is genuinely sleeping and so can genuinely be woken up. First type. Second type of person is pretending to sleep and so doesn't need to be woken up because they're actually awake also. The third type of person thinks they're awake and so they can't be woken up. Now here, I'm not talking about physical sleep. I'm talking about to one's potential. During the week, I teach 3 courses. And my observation with these courses are, on Tuesdays we teach, on Thursdays we teach Atma Bodha. And people don't know about Atma Bodha, so they're sleeping to that, and so they're ready to learn Atma Bodha. When it comes to Bhagavad Gita, 50% of people feel that they know what Bhagavad Gita teaches, correct? We know the names, we know the chapters, so 50% of people know that, so some people can be awoken, some people can't. When it comes to Ramayana, 100% of people think that they know what Ramayana is all about, correct? And so it's difficult actually to teach Ramayana because we know Ravana is defeated by Rama. We know his brother's name is Sri Bharata. But actually, that's why out of all of the courses in the week, the most precious course is this Ramayana course. Because through this, we actually come to understand that we know little to none about what Ramayana actually unfolds historically and more so within ourselves. Yes? Okay. Last week, we sadly experienced the death of Raja Dasharatha. And he is the first prominent personality in our course who has died. And when he had died, the grief that people experienced is indescribable. And at that time, it was Rishi Vashishta who came onto the scene and said, the work must go on. Dharma has to continue. So he immediately orders for Sri Bharata and Sri Shatrughna to come back to Ayodhya because they're not present right now. It can't be Sri Rama and Sri Lakshmana. They can't be there. So Rishi Vashishta continues the flow of this scene. And we ended last week's class with Sri Bharata sitting in the assembly with Rishi Vashishta, with Sri Shatrughna, and everyone else. And they're trying to figure out what to do next. And again, the beauty of having a Kula Guru, of having a leader who has this Vedantic perspective, Rishi Vashishta tells Sri Bharata that the work must go on, that you have to keep following Dharma. It's okay to be sad if someone passes away, but not to grieve. In sadness, you still follow Dharma, but in grief, we become adharmic. As Rishi Vashishta is addressing Sri Bharata and everyone else in the Sabha, he tells everyone that you have to understand and appreciate that this is the nature of Dvaita. This is the nature of duality, that people are born and people die. That sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Sometimes you get the job and sometimes you don't get the job. You have to be above this. And I'll read to you a famous doha from Ramayana. And we're not going to elaborate on this, but it is a famous doha. Rishi Vishishta says to Bharata, Sunahu Bharata bhavi prabhala bilaki kahehu muninatha. That with great sorrow in his heart, Rishi Vishishta, who's also sad, right? He was so close to Raja Dashatha. It says that he's sad too. Hani and labhu. What does hani mean? Loss. And labha? Deepavali is coming, right? Shubha and labha. Really, we want labha and labha, but we write shubha and labha. Jivanu and maranu. Life and death. Jasu and abajasu. That's yasha and ayasha. What does yasha mean? Being known, respected. And ayasha then is being disrespected. Bidihata. Whose hands is this in? In Bhagwan's hands. In life's hands. That we should work with life, not against life. And he says in the next line, Asabichari kehi dea dosu. If you know this, you will not blame. If you know that this is Bhagwan's perfect design, you will never blame anyone. And he further says, na rosu, which means, and you will not be angry. Imagine, we could do away with all blame and all anger. And if we have the knowledge of Bhagwan's presence in this creation, no blame, no anger. We would sleep well at night. We would wake up well in the morning. We wouldn't be stressed out going to work, coming back from school. We'd have happy marriages, healthy kids, everything we want with this understanding. And who is he telling? Shri Bharata, who has to be the king with the most responsibilities. We have some responsibilities. How effective this can be. So we're in this sabha. What happens next? I'm on the 178th section of Chopais of Ayodhya Kanda. I'm going to read the first line of the second Chopai. So that's 178. What is shared here? Badi basana binu bhushana baru, badi birati binu brahma bicharu. And literally what this means, Shri Bharata is telling Rishi Vashishta, you asking me to become the king is like owning lots of jewels but not wearing clothes. You telling me to become the king is like thinking about Brahman but having no vairagya or no prioritization in one's life. Is there a point to having those jewels if you don't have clothes? We're all thinking, yes, capitalism. Is there a point in knowing about Brahman if you're not going to follow? So really, Shri Bharata is saying here is, what is the point of me being the king if Bhagwan Rama is not here? So I'll share some lead up until that. Shri Bharata is obviously sad, and he keeps thinking about his father. And Rishi Vashishta and Shri Bharata's mothers are saying, Raja Dashatha is in the best place. He was an ideal king. He treated his wives well, he treated his kids well, he treated the subjects well. It's shared here that even Indra is jealous of Raja Dashatha. So, Shri Bharata, what are you concerned about? He's in the best place. Shri Bharata is still sad. So then the mothers tell Shri Bharata, why don't you follow your father's wishes and become the king for 14 years, and then you do what you want? You know, like an interim president. But what's unique about that is the interim president wants to be president forever, correct? But you know with Shri Bharata, his is really, I'm just doing this for Bhagwan Rama. So all of these solutions are given to Shri Bharata about the present predicament. When Shri Bharata hears this, he's so sad. And people that are close to him are able to feel his sadness so intensely that they forget their body consciousness. Now we get to experience that sometimes. When you're about to go to a Deepavali party, you're going to a concert in downtown Pittsburgh, and you see someone with that sign in wintertime saying that, I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. Don't you forget everything about where you're going or what you're wearing. Here, that's what's happening with Sri Bharata, that they're telling him to be the king, and he's saying, what is the point of me being the king? There's a very powerful shloka which he shares, doha, sorry. Graha grahita puni bata basa, tehi puni bidi mara, tehi piae baruni kahu kaha upachara. Which means, if someone is possessed, an exorcism is taking over, and that person is experiencing poor omens, and then that person gets bit by a scorpion. Okay? So they're possessed, expressing hallucinations, and bit by or experiencing poison. How do you cure that person? You ask them to drink a cup of wine. That's what he says you're telling me to do right now. That here I am, and you're giving me this very short-term, meaningless solution. And he finally ends this section saying, look at Sri Lakshmana and look at me. Sri Lakshmana's existence is he gets to serve Bhagwan Rama, Mother Sita, all the time, day and night. And here I am, you are telling me to be the king. He's fulfilled his existence, and I am wasting my existence. Sri Lakshmana, look where he's living and where Sri Bharata is living. So this is where the katha is so far. Now I'll explain some of the Vedanta in all of this. Raja Dashatha, did he want Sri Bharata to go to the forest? Did he want Sri Rama to go to the forest? Yes or no? It's shared in Valmikiji's Ramayana. He told Rishi Vashishta and the mothers that if Sri Bharata becomes the king, I'm going to die, but don't allow him to perform my final rites. So did Raja Dashatha want Sri Rama to go? He didn't. Did Mother Kaikeyi want Sri Bharata to become the king? Not really. It wasn't until Manthara poisoned her mind, even Kaikeyi was very happy that Bhagwan Rama was going to become the king. So right now, Sri Bharata is trying to explain, if we can tune into this, there is a difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, isn't there? The letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Swami Tejramananda gives this example. He was saying when he was younger, he wanted to go to a movie. So he went and asked his father. And Swamiji grew up in a very conservative home. So he asked his father, can I go see a movie? And his father says, you go wherever you want. You've said that before. So now the letter of the law is, he can go to the movie, correct? Not just the movie, he can go wherever he wants. That's what the letter of the law is. But the spirit of the law is, his father is saying, you should be studying or doing whatever, correct? So now what's more important here, the letter of the law or the spirit of the law? Convenience, correct? Sometimes the spirit, sometimes the letter. If I can change this terminology, the letter of the law is like legality, and the spirit of the law is like morality. Now, if you go to Las Vegas, I was there on my way to Phoenix, and there's slot machines in the airport, and I'm told that even prostitution is legal in Las Vegas. So according to the letter of the law, prostitution, fine. But is it the spirit of the law? For someone who is a prostitute, did they choose that? We can only infer that they are put into that circumstance, correct? So Sri Bharata, what a profound king he would be, that he understands that difference. For us too to understand that legality means very little in the way that we should live. We should make ourselves more disciplined to live by morality. And this extends more. Sri Bharata says, what is the point of me being the king? In the recent Atma Bodha course, I had asked everyone, what proof is there that infinity is? See, we use the word Brahman all the time, correct? Prove to me that there is Brahman. Can you prove that? Can you prove infinitude? And what's great about philosophy, if someone says why, you can say why not. That's an equally powerful response in philosophy. Disprove infinity, isn't it? So what I'd shared about how to prove infinity, and I didn't take it at a scientific level, because science can't prove infinity. How many of you have been on a world cruise before? Anyone been to a multi-island cruise? Okay. How many of you have built your own home? Yes? How many of you were accepted to the ideal job? Like, this is your dream job. Kids are healthy. Are you sleeping well? Or are you worried about all of that? See, everyone in this room, and we go back into history too, even for the perfect lifestyle, for the person who has everything all right, still everything is not all right. Even when externally all is fine, inside, in that sensitive spot in the morning and the evening, everything is also not fine. And that shows that no combination, no permutation of finitude can create infinitude. But what we want is infinitude, which is why the world cruise, you want more than that. Now Elon Musk said you can get to London in an hour, correct? Why go on the Dreamliner when you can be on a rocket ship? There's no point. No combination, no permutation. And that's where Sri Lakshmana is actually the ideal example that the purpose of our existence is to find infinity, to find contentment. So who's the greater brother in the moment? It is not Sri Bharata. He's in Ayodhya, which is amazing. Sri Lakshmana is in the forest, but who's envious of who? Sri Bharata is envious of Sri Lakshmana because Sri Lakshmana is with infinity. So for us to prioritize. And you ask everyone in all of these centers, who here has excess time? Do you have time to waste? Everyone says they have less time, less time, less time. I don't know how to say no. I can't prioritize. We learn time management through Sri Bharata and Sri Lakshmana. Good? Okay, we'll study one more. One more line. I'm now shifting to the 185th section of Chopais. And I'm going to read the Doha. The 185th section of Chopais. Here's the Doha. Jaru so sampati sadana sukhu. Suhrid matu pitu bhai. Sanamukha hota jo ramapada karena saha sahai. This is an intense doha. I'll read the translation to you. Let one's property and house perish. Let one's suhrid. What is the English word for suhrid? Friend. Matu, mother. Pitu, bhai. Let all of that perish if na sahasa sahai, if they do not assist you, guide you, if they don't direct you towards joy, towards Bhagwan Rama, then let them perish also. Who is he saying this to? Rishi Vashishta. Who is he saying this to? His mothers. Who is he saying this to? His wives. How clear the purpose of life is narrated in this dialogue that's happening in this sabha. Okay, let's look at the katha some more. Sri Bharata tells everyone, stop this dialogue. we should all go and ask Bhagwan Rama to come back. And when he shares that, the way that Tulsidas Ji describes this, he says that all of the people in the kingdom were drowning, and it's like someone showed their hand there. You know, if you've ever been underwater for a long time and you finally reach the surface of that water, what could be more important? They were all drowning in sorrow, and he put that hand out because some people thought this was a conspiracy, that he actually wanted to become the king. But with these words, they realized that they were hallucinating. So Sri Bharata, he said, let's go. So people were rejoicing that tomorrow they're going to start moving to Bhagwan Rama again. And everyone said that they were going to go. The women said they were going to go. The elderly said they were going to go. Even the animals. The horses were neighing, saying, take me, take me. The elephants were trumpeting, take me, take me. Now when Sri Bharata saw that everyone wanted to go, he thought, what will happen to Ayodhya? Again, such a responsibility. He's there to look after Sri Rama's kingdom, correct? He can't let it fall apart. A responsible president leaves the country in good shape for the next president. Do you ever see that parampara happening in governance? They should learn from Ramayana. This is historical. So Sri Bharata finds the most trusted sevakas in the kingdom and says, you all have to stay here and look after Ayodhya. And they did not flinch in saying, we will stay here. But where was their mind? Their body stayed there. Where was their mind? On Bhagwan Rama and how they're serving Bhagwan Rama. Now I'll tell you a personal experience about this. Swamini Vimalananda had once told me. She walked into a room with lots of people there. And Swami Chinmaya was sitting in the middle of the room, and some people were massaging his feet, some people were fanning him, people were asking if he wants water, if he wants tea. And she felt very bad because she was far in that room and she wanted to help out too. And Swami Chinmaya shortly after that said, and my real devotees are working in the field. She had just come back from doing some Chinmaya mission work. And she felt so relieved that, my real devotees are not the people who are massaging my feet or offering water. Anyone can do that, correct? I can go to the hotel and get a massage. They'll give me cool water and massage my feet too. But the people who are working in the field are my real devotees. Now that's for us to think about. Who are we close to? The people who are nice to us, the people who give us gifts, or the people who are encouraging us to be happy? Who our real friends are? In the Atma Bodha course, I was sharing how difficult high school is. I was watching a high school student leave high school and he just looked sad. I couldn't describe him any more than just sad. And I was thinking about how much complication there is in the social life of a high school student. It's not even the academics or the locker or what university to apply to. It's just people talking about people. People being exclusive, people being inclusive. Complicated. If we are able to know who our real friends are, high school becomes easy, becomes the best. Through God's grace, I was able to have wonderful friends in high school who have set my trajectory in life to be far better than what it was going on. So Sri Bharata tells those workers, those sevakas, you need to stay here. So people are packing their bags, people are feeding their animals. And you know what Sri Bharata tells the rishis? Prepare the coronation materials also. When did Raja Dashatha want Sri Rama to become the king? Tomorrow, no? Sri Bharata said, we're going to make him the king on the spot. So bring all the materials with us. That's where he's going to be coronated as the king. That night, nobody slept. And then they pretended to wake up the next morning. They asked each other, how did you sleep? And they said, well, but nobody slept. And they started. And initially, Sri Bharata was in the front with the mothers. And the mothers were being carried on. What do they call them? That's a weird word, palanquin, isn't it? Who came up with that word? But they're being carried on that. And Shri Bharata's walking. And those mothers said, why don't you sit on the palanquin too? You are a king, you are a prince. And Shri Bharata says, how? Bhagwan Rama, Mother Sita are walking. How can I be on there? And then those mothers said, because logic doesn't work with mothers, correct? The response to logic is that's different. So the mothers said, but you'll be slowing down everyone else because they're following you, correct? And if you're on foot, you're not used to this. So you should sit on the palanquin also. So he did. He sat on the palanquin, but slowly he told his palanquin driver to go slower and slower and slower till he was in the back, and then he got off. And he started walking at the back of this procession because he did respect his mothers, that everyone else will be ahead of him, but still in his heart, he was going to Sri Rama. He was preparing himself for Sri Rama. Now, as this procession is going, thousands, including the military, correct? In North America, when large groups of people gather, they don't really say too much. But anytime there's a large gathering of people in Bharat, the police are there right away. In our third yatra to Bharat, some of you were there. So on our yatras, which are 20 days, I give our yatris half a day to let go of all of their rajas. So we go shopping. So we go to Hiranandani, and that day people just shop. And then that evening I treat them to pizza or hakka chow mein or something like that. So we all got to Hiranandani, and I'm telling everyone, okay, all of you can leave here, but we have to meet back here at whatever time. So there's a group of 35 people there. The police came. I'm just telling them, go and come back at this time. And the police came saying, well, you know, why is there this large gathering of people? One other person came to me and said, are you making a movie? Can I be, can I be in the movie? So here, as this procession is going, who's watching? Guha. Guha is the chieftain of the Nishadas. He sees this military. He thinks all of them are going to kill Bhagwan Rama, isn't it? When someone doesn't know, misinterpretation is quite natural. He thinks they're going to kill Bhagwan Rama so Sri Bharata can be the king forever. And he tells all of his people, gather your weapons, hide in the trees. We need to stop them before they get to Sri Rama. Everyone's, hitting their chest, pounding their shields. We will lay our life down for Sri Rama. And then an old man sneezes. And shared, he sneezed on the left side. I don't really know what that means, but that's what's written. And when you sneeze from the left side, that's a good omen. Just go with the flow, okay? When you sneeze, you go like this. So the elderly people in the community, they said this is a good omen. And the good omen is that we don't need to fight. So they told Guha, go and have a dialogue with Sri Bharata to find out why he's here. And so Guha first sees Rishi Vashishta. And Guha introduces himself, says, I was with Bhagwan Rama. Rishi Vashishta immediately turns to Sri Bharata and says, this is a friend of Sri Rama. Bharata jumps from the back of that procession, runs forward, and hugs Guha. Now, at the time, the caste system was still being misinterpreted. That is unheard of. For the king, he is the present king, to hug someone who's supposed to be of a lower nature. And Guha thought that he was a devotee of Bhagwan Rama. When he got to speak to Sri Bharata, he realized who's a real devotee of Bhagwan Rama. And now to bring some Vedanta into all of this. Remember I said that Sri Bharata said that let's go find Bhagwan Rama? How come no one else thought about that? How come Rishi Vashishta, the mothers, the citizens, nobody thought about that? It's because an ignorant person doesn't know they're ignorant, isn't it? That's what makes someone ignorant. That's the need for a guru. Only a guru can point out one's ignorance. Yesterday we had a large committee meeting in Pittsburgh, and I was telling Pittsburgh that you have two weaknesses, but you can't see those weaknesses because you're in Pittsburgh. Today I got an email from someone saying that they were very happy to see Vyasa in the Bhagavad Gita course and that Vyasa looks very much like me. And I acknowledge that in front of Sheila, but not in front of Sheila, I don't acknowledge that. Because I actually don't see it. Because I see him all the time. So I don't see that connection. So here, Sri Bharata is the guru to the people. His hand is in to them as they're drowning in confusion. A guru, in this case Sri Bharata, teaches us how to think. More important than what to think is how to think. If you know what to think, you're limited by space, time, and matter. But if you learn how to think, it doesn't matter about the space, time, and matter. When you come into this building, you don't learn what to think, you learn how to think, other than SAT class. And this also shows, Sri Bharata is not known to be a guru. We need more sacred role models in our lives, isn't it? We have a lot of secular role models. We have a chief resident. We have a mentor. We have a neighbor who manages their lawn well. But do we have sacred role models? I don't know if we have any. Now this journey, what is the Sanskrit word for journey? They're journeying from Ayodhya to Bhagwan Rama. What do we call that? Yatra, isn't it? They're going on a yatra. They're leaving pleasure and going towards peace. This is called a Jivan Yatra. This journey symbolizes a Jivan Yatra, yatra of life. What does yatra mean? I know it means journey. Tell me in more detail. The root ya means to go. Outwardly you go, but inwardly you move or change. If you go on a journey and you don't come back different, you went on vacation. You came back poorer and fatter. But if you come back changed, if you went to Las Vegas, that could also be a yatra. I'm not encouraging that, but it can also be a yatra, correct? So here, Sri Bharata said, bring the materials now, correct? When does our Jivan Yatra begin? Now. Actually, it should have began 20 years ago. All of you should have began when you were in a womb. There's that Chinese proverb I always talk about. When is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. You'd be enjoying the shade, the fruit. The next best time is now. Don't wait for Vijayadashmi. That's one year from now. Don't wait for Deepavali. Don't wait for Christmas. Start now. Raja Dasharatha waited and he had to die for it, isn't it? If he had made Bhagwan Rama the king then and there, the sad part is we wouldn't have Ramayana then, right? And finally, let's bring Guha back into this. When Sri Bharata was going to Bhagwan Rama, remember I told you the queens asked him to sit in the palanquin. When we engage in our sadhana, when we're on a yatra, the people closest to us may be most confused by it. Don't your siblings ask you why you come here on Sundays? Is your marriage okay? Kids, are they depressed? Is that why they come to Balavihar? When you engage in your sadhana, you're going to find that people will start to copy you. But they may not be ready for such sadhana, so do your sadhana quietly. You shouldn't be show-offy about your sadhana. You see, the mother said people are going to copy you. So they had a point, so that's why he went and did his sadhana in the back. Then you go to Guha. When people do your sadhana, people will misunderstand you too, isn't it? Guha misunderstood Sri Bharata. And how we should respond to that is to focus. Because if you start caring about public opinion when it comes to your sadhana, what will happen to your sadhana? It will become commercial and finally it will stop. So be quiet about your sadhana, be focused about your sadhana. And there's so much description about this yatra to Bhagwan Rama, which we will continue next week. Narayana.